Yo, what's up guys? This is the reality of progress. If you want deep singing knowledge you'll get nowhere else, subscribe, pound that thumbs up guys, let's go. So this is a kind of crossover video between singing and life. Some of the pragmatic, just practical issues that you face when trying to make progress with singing, with your future, with all this good stuff. One thing you have to learn with all this, just generally with this process of change, that's what we're trying to get to as singers who are struggling, as people who are struggling. How do we get better? How do we improve ourselves? It's never a clean transition. There's always this sense of a battle being fought in the mind, this sense of a tug of war. When you start that tug of war, you've got one team on one end, big, burly guys, grim life, just horrible place to be. On the other side, you've got little Pee Wee Herman, stood there, futile, stop messaging me people, just useless. Can't compete in this tug of war. Over time, though, the teams tend to even out, and eventually, the old habit tends to loosen off and get weak. The old memory, the old thing that was grabbing you, tends to weaken. 3 steps forward, 2 steps back, over and over and over and over and over again. And the frustrating part of this all is that you can't go back. You can't change those mistakes. You can't adjust the bad decisions you made when you took those 2 steps back again, when your confidence was low, when you're singing badly, when you're like, oh, why is this not working? And you tend to compound the problem. You tend to go into more negativity. Before you know it, you feel like you're back where you started. And even when you come out of that dark place yet again, there's always frustration, this deep sense of, man, I could have done that differently. I know better than this. I know better. Dealing with that is tough, man. Now, everybody goes through this, but I think people who are taking on real change in their life, because of the broader context they begin to see, because of the bigger underlying foundations they begin to see, because of the sense of different perspectives they begin to see, that backslide, those backward steps, they can really torch you and haunt you, because you're like, man, I know better. If only I could have done this. If only, it's like being in a chess game. If only I could have played that move differently and this move differently. And you go back and over in your head. Now, this is how you learn moving forward, but it's also how you get trapped again. Now, at some point, no matter how much you fight that downslide, no matter how much you regret, no matter how much you want to change things, you have to move on and say, okay, man, I made some bad decisions. I made some right decisions. All I can do is learn from it. And next time I'll make some better decisions. And that's kind of the reality of progress. As you take these steps forward and you feel those slides, each time you got to take a breath and take that next step forward and just start rebuilding again. And sometimes it's very hard. Sometimes you're going to feel like, is this ever going to work? Why is it that I make the same mistakes over and over again? I never seem to learn. I never seem to be able to say to myself, I've tried it that way 30 times and it worked no times. What is it about my nature that sucks me back into that poor decision making? And there are many things. And you're going to come across 50, 100 situations that you deal with perfectly. And then all of a sudden you're going to be in a high pressure situation and you'll immediately feel like you're regressing back to the very beginning. It's all just experience. It's all just building. Keep in mind this, 3 steps forward, 2 steps back. But it doesn't feel like that. It feels like 3 steps forward, 3 steps back. And that's the thing. It's very hard as humans to keep track of long-term progress. We have some capacity for long-term memory, but it's vague, it's squishy, it's not precise at all. And so this is why it feels like 3 steps forward, 3 steps back, when in reality, if you're on a quest for change, it's generally speaking 3 steps forward, 2 steps back, 3 steps forward, 2 steps back. So over the long run, you're going up. And you can take some of these ideas into singing, you can take them and apply them into your day-to-day life. It all crosses over, it's all just normal. Dealing with yourself, dealing with other people, it's just life. And the goal really is to find some sense of balance between, learning from the past, learning from these poor decisions, and looking ahead, being in the present, looking forward, rebuilding, trying to find a sense of balance. Some people, they move on quick, they don't think much, but they don't learn that much either moving forwards. They tend to repeat the same mistakes over and over. Other people, and this is my nature more so, tend to dwell and dwell and dwell and rerun different variables, different decisions. What could I have done here? What could I have done there? Over and over and over. At some point, that's got to stop. There's strengths and weaknesses to these different types of characters. We've got to find balance so that the next time you make a bad set of decisions, you can think about it, learn from it, dwell on it some, then move on and let go of it. And this is the reality of progress, guys. It's a tough journey. It is not easy. If you take on real change, it takes a lot of bravery. It takes a lot of risk. It takes taking on a lot of pain, a lot of, who am I? Where am I? Just the ability to answer that honestly is tough for all of us. What change as a singer and the reality of change gives you is it gives you a chance to benefit in the long run, to benefit in 10 years, to benefit in 15 years. It doesn't give you the opportunity to benefit now so much. Benefiting now, let's go down the pub, let's hang out with friends, let's party, let's have a good time. If you're taking on real change, that's the type of life you end up sacrificing to some degree. Sometimes it can be 3 steps forward, 2 steps back, and all of a sudden you take a big fall, 5 steps back, 6 steps back. You feel like, whoa, okay, I'm really having to reset again and build from the ground up a little bit. You tend to build up more quickly from there once you do get back from that fall. But it's always like this, gradually on the way up. Now, whilst this video was for you, it's also for me in a sense. Yeah, I deal with these types of thoughts all the time, learning to be a better singer, trying to get better at my coaching, all this type of stuff. So a lot of this stuff that I put out to you guys is just me really solidifying, distilling, bringing my thoughts together into something cohesive and trying to explain it and put it out there into the world so that other people taking on the journey of change as singers and in whatever they're doing, maybe they're musicians, maybe they're sports people, maybe they're whatever, they can take this distilled information and assimilate into it more quickly. They can kind of get a sense of there's somebody else out there doing this and making a hell of a lot of mistakes doing it, but still plugging away, still plodding on, still, just giving it a shot. Tell me what you think in the comments below, guys, about your own progress with singing, about challenges you've had. And as always, if you've liked this video and if you want deep singing knowledge you'll get nowhere else, subscribe, pound that thumbs up. I'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye.